Greeting everyone, welcome to Group 5 LS202 presentation group, and today we feel very excited to present you all about our summary of the chapter 12 and 13, The Village by the Sea. For your information, our group consists of 7 members, which is me, Lisa, Sri Niang, Bonarot, Monirot, Lee Sing, Soparat, and last but not least, Kim Mian. However, in this video, you're going to see only 4 members that going to present. First, I myself are going to tell you about the summary. Continue to Sri Niang, going to present you all about the theme analysis. And carry on to Bonarot and Monirot will indicate the study text. And finally, Kim Mian will provide the discussing question. So yes, let's get started. Harry decided to come back to Thul. He traveled back to his village by bus and not ferry. Jagu and Mr. Panwallah are having a thought and bought him the tickets. Mr. Panwallah had said goodbye to him at the stop door and slipping Harry another 10 rupee as a goodbye present. With his tearing eyes, he advised and alerted Harry to be careful along the way. Harry was being grateful and promised to send back postcard as soon as he arrived. As he was leaving, he pressed his face to the window looking to the scenery. Along the way, he noticed that Thul doesn't seem to be changed at all. He got up and turned to the path and continued walking. Meanwhile, he went into the hut and shouted. Lila was surprisingly happy and said she knew he would return to Thul one day. Lila prepared sweet for Harry. Harry started to say that he misses her. After that, Lila told him about their mother condition. And while Harry was eating his sweet, Kamal and Bella arrived and started hugging each other. Harry brought out all the presents for them. At the same time, they were curious how their brother managed to have all the money. Harry explained that he's been saving, worked multiple jobs to support himself, and he mentioned that he learned to repair watches. Lila was disappointed. Harry continued to explain that he got everything under control, and he introduced his plan that he will have enough money to spend, food to eat, and their family will be not poor anymore. Lila mentioned that their father seems to stop drinking. So tomorrow morning, Harry and Lila went to the market to buy supplies, and Lila was trying to buy poor quality products and food, but Harry said he had enough money to pay for it. Lila was not used to it at all, so she bought some chawla and came back home. Along the way, Lila told Harry that it is Diwali tomorrow and they could bring their mother home. In the conversation, Lila mentioned Harry that the Silvas and Ali helped them through the difficult time. It rings the bell to Harry, but he couldn't tell where he had that name. On Diwali morning, Harry left their sister and asking what do they need. Lila said nothing, but Bella asked for a candy toy. Harry laughed and promised to buy it for her. Then Harry left. He arrived to the field, so he bought a few chicken and went back to Alima. On his way back, he bumped into Ramu, where they met at a temple on a hill. They continued the journey together on Ramu's bike. Harry continued to hospital and see his father. Harry asked to see his mother, and then they confirmed that she is strong enough to return home. Harry could barely recognize his own mother, and after that he greets her, started packing her stuff, and he carried her to a tonga. At home, Lila prepared everything for Diwali and welcoming their mother. Harry carried a basket of fireworks and ready to launch it. After enjoying it, they continued walking and making pyramid sand, and they returned. After Diwali, Harry was wandering around, so he visited Sahib. That man was studying birds. Harry suddenly remembered that is the person he recognized from Bombay, and that guy was Ali. They continued talking on veranda. So Harry and Ali talked how the case in court and the politician won. He said he lose and that politicians are now taking control. All of the birds will be losing home as well. Ali was curious and asked Harry what was his plan. Harry was shyly telling Ali about his watch repairing business. Ali was astonished. Ali looked at Harry and cried with joy. He was shocked and excited to see Harry has learned and adapting to the living just like the bird. Ali was overjoyed and happy. Back to the village, Harry was amazed when he saw his mother along with the other women stepping to the sea to scatter flower petal and color powder. Lila and Harry was very delighted to see this scene. So, and after that, they live happily ever after.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chang. Now it's my turn to present about theme analysis and main message. First, I'm gonna talk about theme analysis. The first theme in a chapter is adapting to change. So, what is adapting to change? Adapting to change means adapting the way we do things in all areas of our life and to respond to the changing circumstances. It means not only protect against negative impact but also making us better able to take advantage of any benefit. It is important to adapt to change because it is what keeps us relevant, valuable, and at the forefront of the competitive age. But doing so doesn't change who you are at your core. After reading the story The Village by the Sea, the author Anita Desai have shown that the wheel of turning regardless of whether or not people want it to. Factory will be built, job will be gained and lost, former modes of working and living will fade away and others will take their places. Change and adaptation are not easily done, especially by older generation. But what is necessary is to keep going. As an example, we can see Harry. By the time Harry returned home in time for Diwali, he became more mature. He has money in his pocket and pride in his heart. He knows where he belongs now, and he is confident that the chicken farm and the watchmaking shop will work. Harry's secret is evident in his conversation with Mr. Sayyid Ali, when he said with pride slightly that, "Sir, I thought since it's too late to start fishing or farming now, this will not be a good place to farm or fish anymore. And since I don't want to work in a factory, I thought I would buy some chicken, build chicken coop in my field, start a poultry farm, sell eggs in the village and chicken to the rich people who will come to Thul when the factory is built. And so we will live for a while. Later, I want to set up a watchmaking shop. I have learned a little watchmaking." A conversation so that he really can adapt and move on to the new environment now. And he even has set future plans for himself and his family. Another example is Lila, Harry's sister. She have also accepted her new lifestyle without Harry and new environment. She forced herself to grow up before her age because of her family situation without her big brother, their drunken father, and their sick mother. She learned to take care of her two sisters and she took care of her home. She got a job and she even takes some time to visit her parents at the hospital. The last one is the villager in Thul. After losing the cash income, the villages and their lands have been replaced by great companies. The natural environment does not exist anymore as it was earlier. The changes are profitable in short run but destructive in long run. The villagers are opposing but no one will listening to their yelling. They lost the cash income. The politician men won, so they can make plenty of money from the sale of land and licenses in the name of progress. The government is implementing its master plan with fraud and in result the small farm and landowners become the labor and worker of various companies established in the area or start doing something else. Their calm, relaxed, and joyful life turn to a hardworking and restless labor life. This is how their life has become after the event. No matter how they don't want, they have to adapt the transformation in life that they are facing. The second theme in the chapter is economic growth and its content. After reading The Village by the Sea in the last chapter, the author had shown and emphasized that the electoral consequences of economic growth through the conversation between Sayyid Ali and Harry when they meet again. He told Harry that everything is done. The fish in the sea will die from the effluent that will be pumped in the water. The paddy field will be built over by factories and houses and streets. My little bird will find no more petty leaf for their nest, or grain or food for their young. They will have to fly away. I may not see them another year. We can see that the author does not shy away from showing how the imminent victory will up and lie as the people know it in the Alibag district. Population growth, pollution, destruction of natural resources, loss of jobs, displacement to the city, and more are on the horizon of the characters. So the author's message is that one must keep adapting because the wheel of time always keeps turning. It is clear she finds their change problematic and discombobulating. Now let's move on to the main message. The first main message is life is all about learning. Why learning is important? No one was born knowing everything. They need to learn to know things. Learning is important because it shapes you as a person. It fills you with knowledge. It boosts your confidence. It gives you happiness when you keep learning and knowing things. It makes you richer by thought. Life is a continuous learning process. Life is all about learning and discovering new things. Remember, life doesn't stop when you graduate from college. This is just the beginning. We learn in every experience that has happened in our life. We learn from our bad experiences as well as good experiences. Just like Harry did, and we can see that Harry had worked hard and learned about watchmending from Mr. Panwallah that lived next door during his stay in Mumbai. Mr. Panwallah advised Harry to keep learning things and never give up. So after he turned back to his hometown, Harry planned to build chicken coops and start a poultry farm. Even though he had never learned or have experience in it, he thought that he can learn about it. Similarly, we should never stop learning. The more we keep learning, the more we keep growing. Learning is just like the mission to learn about ourselves and try to find the person we really are. As the time goes by, we go on the journey of trouble, pain, and struggling. First, we don't know what to do with it. We get lost and can't move forward anymore without help. But after twists and turns, we can learn about it, we experience it, and we can find a way to deal with it. We know where we are going or what we're supposed to do. This is how life will be. The second message in the story is family is where life begins and love never ends. We all know that family is where true love and devotion grow. Family bond individuals together no matter their choice, mistakes, successes or failures, and it teaches us all how to love a little bit better. We are thankful to our family who choose to love us despite what hardship or differences stand in their way. As an example, when Harry had gone to Mumbai to find a job without telling his family, his sister didn't encourage at all. In contrast, they always believed that Harry would come back one day, whereas Harry, despite being far away from home, he has never once not thinking about his family. He sold every little money he has for his family. He had worked hard every day in hope that one day he can help his family. In the end, Harry came back and got reunion with his family. He even bought presents for his three sisters, and he paid his money for his sick mother that was staying in hospital. That's so how they have hope and love to one another no matter what happened. No family is perfect. Sometimes we argue, we fight, and we even stop talking to each other at times. But in the end, family is still family. Love and support will always be there.
Okay, so welcome everyone to the analysis of study text in real life. So this point will be presented by me, Pularat, and Bong Narirawat. So without further ado, let's jump right into my point. So my point is return of migrant worker. For return of migrant worker, I will handle two main points. So it is reason of returning and the benefit after worker return their hometown, and this this will be shown both in the study text and in real life of migrant worker. First, reason for returning. So in the text, we learned that Harry decided to return Thul when he has saved enough money when he worked in Bombay. He wanted to use his money to help his family. He misses his family, and those are the reason that pushes Harry to decide to went back to his home village. And let's look into a real life situation. So what are the reasons why does migrant worker return their home and stop going back to work? So according to a research in 2015 about Cambodian migrant, it showed that in real life, after working for a period of time, migrant worker tends to consider going back home. And the reason varies from one group to another group and from one situation to another situation. But there are four main reasons that I will show you today, and the reasons are: one, achieve earning goal, which means they earn and save enough money to go back home to do something they want. Change of motivation, which means that they don't want to work anymore due to they have some personal issue, family issue, or health issue, contract ended, and lastly, political crisis, which lead them that they need to flee back to their home country. So these are the four reasons of returning, which in real life. And here is the QR code that you can scan for a more detailed reference. So for the next point will be the benefit of returning. In the study text, we can see that after Harry went back to Thul, he has become a more mature in terms of financially and intellectually. To be in short, he has become a better version of himself. He understands more about changes and stuff. He was no longer a tall boy who was in a frog in a whale. Also, at the same time, he has raised his family standard of living to be a better one, and that is a great thing. So what can the migrant worker do after they return home in reality, in real life? The benefit after they returning home, they have developed personal skill like communication, hardworking, and some soft skill also improve their standard of living, their family standard of living, as they use their save or their earning to support their family better. And also they help introduce new ideas that their hometown had never seen before or their homeland never seen before as well. And last but certainly not least is they bring new business concept to their home country or to their family so that they can implement it on their own. And all of these four benefits has actually proven to be a really positive one, and Cambodian had actually bring it back as well. That is all from my part, and thank you for listening. So let's move on to another speaker, which is Bong Nadirawat.
Saying Bunarawat. The next part will be the analysis of the connection between study text and real life in chapter 13, which is presented by me, Muniruat. In this chapter, I choose change and adaptation as the main idea to analyze the connection between the study text and real life. So now, let's begin with the study text first. As we have known from the story, Harry is just a countryside boy without proper education. He dropped out of school due to his family's circumstance, and he only knows how to work on the farm and do a little fishing. After arriving in Bombay, Harry started to see a new world, which was the beginning of the new chapter in his life. In this big city, he could not survive without working, and his previous skill isn't helpful either. Little by little, he began to adjust to this new environment by learning how to work in the Sri Krishna eating house and spending his break time learning how to man a ward with Mr. Panwallah. All of this saw the new adaptation and change of Harry's life. And if you take a look at the real life, the story have reflected our current social situation. A lot of people have changed their living style due to the development and overpopulation on the globe. People cannot do what they used to do in the past. They have to move on by learning new skills, otherwise they will be left behind. To illustrate, we will take a look at our country, Cambodia. We have known that in the past, nearly 80% of Cambodian people working as a farmer in the agricultural sectors. That is thanks to our geography with rich land, tropical weather, which is the best condition for farming. However, things have changed with the industrial revolution and the limited to land owning. People cannot depend on the same traditional lifestyle. Our people have to shift their occupation to factory worker or seeking a job in the Phnom Penh city instead of working in the field like in the past. Another example is the globalized pandemic of COVID-19. Before the pandemic, we could meet face-to-face and use physical interaction with one another. However, everything different from before. We had to follow some certain rules to prevent the spread of COVID-19 as well as getting infectious. These activities including working from home, study online class, use social distance to communicate with family and friends. Moreover, wearing a mask is an obligation in the public place as well as disinfecting our hands all the time with soap or alcohol gel. Overall, the connection of this chapter with the real-life situation has given us a lot of useful ideas that apply to our situation, such as never stop learning and be well prepared. Sometimes we think that we are capable now. However, anything can happen. We never know what is going to occur in the future. Maybe one day, someone can replace you, or your skill is no longer helpful. Therefore, learning a new thing or upgrade your current situation is a must. And remember, nothing is permanent in our life. Everything is temporary. This is all for our group video presentation. Thank you.